Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is Suzanne, and this segment's brought to you by BeSimply, and I want to welcome you all into this sacred space with yourself and me as your humble guide as we take this journey. We're going to go into a little Dharma talk, Suzanne style, and then silent meditation with sound afterwards. So today, at this moment in interstellar space or a dimensional field, however you prefer to look at it, we are at a point where a majority of our consciousness has awakened to start to see what is. And that concept of what is really very relative based on many things. One being your belief system, being how much of your mind stream is under control by outside sources. And the other part is attachment. And when we have attachment, that skews our perspective and our ability to see what is. So from the space of cultivating a meditative practice, we would want to become more and more objective, where we can observe what's unfolding and then retain our emotional intelligence and governance over our mental, physical, and emotional body, meaning that we can hold that still point as we observe, and then from there determine where we want to contribute or not and flow into action. And so when we look at these components that impact our ability to really be awake with full awareness in each and every moment, it takes a lot of courage, because sometimes we are going to witness and observe things that could trigger us, that can test us, that can make us wonder a little bit, and sometimes put us in a position like we're standing on our head looking at our reality in a whole new way. So the beautiful thing about this awakening process is that bit by bit, it's almost like internally your soul, based on how you are in this moment and how far you have evolved, it's an eternal process, will really guide you into what you can see and hopefully inspire you to see beyond what you think you know. And so today, when I was feeling into what I wanted to share in this talk, is I wanted to share a little bit more about Buddha with the stick. For many, they're feeling this rise of energy where they've learned a series of lessons through this awakening, and maybe through adversity, trauma, all those kinds of things. And the lesson has been learned. Yet the practice may not be fully embodied, hence the need for Buddha with the stick. And what that is in a Zen or Taoist setting is that it can be looked at that there is the Buddha that's in silence, like you all will be shortly. And then there is the Buddha, the mind. Buddha equals mind for syntax purposes. So Buddha is still and quiet. And then there's the Buddha, the mind stream that's light and levity and helps lift one into a blissful state that is not based on grasping. And then the third component is Buddha with the stick. And that is the real practice of self-correcting. And if you were in a monastery setting, there potentially could be a strike, meaning not like a social media strike, but one where the Buddha, the teacher, the one that is closer to embodying enlightenment, is there to teach you and guide you. And therefore, in that setting, they would take a bamboo stick. And when the mind stream would wander, they would whack you on the shoulder. There are two reasons for that. Before any of you get all upset that this is would be considered abuse. One, this is an agreed upon situation, and sometimes this would not be a literal bamboo stick, but it has been known to be a literal one. And the reason for that is to snap the person back into focus. And when we're in mind training, because that's what this is that if the mind becomes distracted, we lose focus and we can't retain that which we're cultivating. Similar if like you're picking cherries from a tree and you lose your awareness and focus on picking the cherries, you might have wandered down the orchard and laying on the grass, reading a book, and completely forgot about your responsibility to pick the cherries. So that strike helps bring your focus back into place. And the cool part is that you can be Buddha with the stick with yourself, meaning that you can redirect your attention back to the focus point at any given time. And as a collective field of consciousness, this is where we have swayed because we've allowed our attention to flow here and there and there and there. And before you know it, people don't even understand what they've been looking at because they haven't really put in the space to really practice being focused. That's a practice. And they haven't practiced being their own Buddha with the stick in the redirect. If you're working with someone like myself, I assist you with that process to return your focus to where it needs to be. We have a large population of people that get a diagnosis of ADHD. I wrote recently on my, the Substack, about ADHD, and that's the second to last article, will soon be the third, about that a lot of ADHD, I would say the root cause is trauma and or fear. And trauma generates fear. And right now we're at that stage where everyone's been pretty much traumatized at different levels on the earth plane. And their focus is really all over the place because it's like, look over here, look over here, look over here. And so this is that moment to kind of step back as we cross this most certain threshold. And if you can, that's practice retaining your focus. This will not only help you, but will also help your fellow humanity holding that mind stream where you want it to be. Because by now you should have the 411 that the operandi on the human mind is to move from fear and control. And so if you are at a place where you don't want to live in fear and control, this is your opportunity to really deepen your meditative repose. I recommend working with someone like myself. I strongly discourage you from being on a self-led journey, especially with some of the tools that are enticing out on the internet. I'll do a separate segment. I need to do a lot of separate segments on that later. But for today's purpose, you want to develop that focus and be really one-pointed with it and have the ability to self-correct, redirect yourself in real time, but also to continue to sharpen your ability to see what is. And so when you begin to understand the universal law of cause and effect, this is an eternal cause and effect, that you will start to see where your actions are going to lead and where past actions have led you to here. And this is like, those intricate dominoes they set up in a fashion and they push the one over and it knocks them all down. We are always co-creating that reality with our consciousness. However, we've been living for quite a long time, our ancestors included, with this impediment of someone co-opting our consciousness and redirecting it where they want it to be. And this is your moment to step into being in full integrity from within and really deciding where you want to put your attention. And that is why Buddha with the stick is so important. So all of you, depending where you are in your own awakening in the perceptual physical world to your spiritual practice, irregardless of where that is originating from or where you're inspired to focus, the practice of constantly bringing yourself back to the discipline of whether it's silent meditation and prayer and studies, whatever it might be, just to constantly bring yourself back there so that you're not distracted. And one thing you might start to do and notice when you're around certain people, you might notice that your mind like pauses, like can't hear them. And this is where some of that trauma response would be in the mind, where all of a sudden the mind shuts off and can't hear what the person is saying. Now, it doesn't mean this person caused you trauma. They might have, but they also might represent an original trauma that happened to you, or something that is their presence is reminding you of something from before here. And so any traumatic event any of us experience is, if you're not in it physically right now, it's literally water under the bridge. However, there's still an embed in your mind stream. And so the more that you get adept at observing your mind, and when it loses focus, even when you're in person-to-person interaction, you'll realize like, whoa, when I'm with this person, I can't like focus. I can't really hear what they say. And then you can start to sit with that, meaning once you're awake, bring yourself back to the conversation, but later give yourself time to recapitulate. And that process will start to let your mind stream and your heart know that you're ready to clear that out. And one of the simplest ways to do that is through meditative repose and being willing to let go of that. Many people are attached to their drama and their trauma. They like to wear it as a label. They like to wear it as kind of their cause that they're working on. However, it's really meant from the East that the more that we can minimize speaking of trauma, the better. And the reason for that is because oftentimes that trauma might trigger our brothers and sisters here on the earth plane. And so then the domino effect starts to happen. And I always share with my clients and students that if whoever's the most aware in a given moment, meaning that if you're locked in, focused, you're able to be the observer, see what is, then I, pass the baton to you and say, all right, it's your responsibility in that set and setting to actually hold the compassion and kindness and guide the situation. Because if you see someone that oh my gosh, they're getting triggered, that you can redirect a lot of this energy based on your awareness. And as soon as even you notice maybe that you might be triggered in a situation, you can redirect the mind stream so it doesn't become a runaway train and you lose your personal integrity within, meaning that if you are committed to building love, kindness, compassion, peace, then you want to move away from things that might trigger another person by oftentimes redirecting. And if you had your metaphorical Buddha with a stick behind you, which is you would feel yourself whack you on the shoulder and say, hey, focus back over here. Stop that. So I want you to, and that's why the cheeky Buddha comes in and helps you too. So if inspired, as you move into the next, I encourage you to start practicing this and see where it takes you. You can also, if you have questions, you can put them below, or you can email me directly questions if you want to learn more, all of that good stuff. And then the other component, the reason really the self-correction is needed right now is when we go through a long awakening process, we don't have our sea legs about us. So it takes that discipline to hold yourself where you want to be, not all over the place. It's like, all right, I'm going to hold myself right here. And when you do that, you're going to see the benefits. You'll see the benefits. And I would also say that maybe for those of you that your spiritual practice has waxed and waned over the course of your lifetime, or your faith's attention has waxed and waned, that is very much like riding a bike, meaning that it's not like necessarily going to the gym, where if you don't go to the gym and then there's a lapse and then you have to get back on it, you're going to feel the need to get your sea legs about you. And it may take longer, it may take shorter, all those things. When you re-meet a practice, you will retain that where you got with it. Meaning, let's say if you're a skier, you might understand this metaphor. You got to the place where you mastered intermediate runs, and then now you can hold those intermediate runs. You may need to run those intermediate runs, and then eventually it'll lead you to more advanced runs to go down the mountain with. So this is how consciousness works, and it's going to be fascinating but necessary that we all do hold our mind stream as strong as possible for the benefit of self and others, because the people that have not awakened, they're still attached. And this is like a phase of a millennial and many millennials of awakening. Their mind might still be attached, more than likely, to the worldview that they have been observing and believing in. And believing is that key factor. It's not the what is, it's the story, it's the shroud, it's the veil that has been presented. And so for each one of you, if you can hold the observation of what is, this helps not only you, but others, because it's like, if everyone's seen, the pink elephant in the room, but they can't, suddenly they're like, whoa, there's a pink elephant in the room. And then that starts to continue to shift the reality. The cool part about this is that those who are the manifestation, meaning the people that have manifested as energies that do very inhumane things to humanity, is that they can no longer sustain their actions because everyone becomes aware of the pink elephant in the room. And so at that point, their consciousness within the perceptual form that they're in has two choices. It will go through either entropy, a heat death, which will lead them to their effect for their some accumulation of their actions, or they will be led to start to resolve and atone and purify for their contribution. And then each one of us that has participating in building up that force will also simultaneously start untying our karmic knots with those person, places, and things. Because this is how it works. Just because you're not directly involved, but you have participated in shoring up some of these people, places, and things because you feel you had to, there is still a karmic imprint, but it gets less and less. And like I said, part of our duty here has been to awaken. So the more willing and courageous you are to see what is, and then to objectively observe, and then keep your mind focused where you want it to be. So you have the information, but you want to generate peace, you focus on peace. You want to focus on a world that's filled with altruism, then you focus there. And that starts to ripple and flow from there. And then there's a willingness, if a new body of information comes up and you need to examine it and witness it because of your efforts over here, need to understand that, you can look and then you return it back to what you are wanting to examine. And a simple way is, let's say there's a quote unquote, if we use the word altruism, a nonprofit that has lost its way, meaning there might be actions that are aligned with the original intent of maybe that system that's to be of service. And eventually that gets exposed. And so that system has two choices. It refines and repurifies, or again, it goes through the entropy, it falls away. So as we go into this segment of meditation, silent meditation, I encourage you, one, just to let everything I said wash away. And then during the meditation, we'll start the practice of imagining that you're Buddha. I'm going to say this real quick before we completely enter. Understand when I use the word Buddha equals mind stream, it does not mean something outside of you. Nor if you have an additional practice or if you have a faith, that's fine. But this is internal, and that will only, by clearing your mind stream, it only deepen your understanding of that which you might be studying or meeting on a regular basis. So really, the word Buddha is not a religion. It's a practice, and it's a practice to keep your mind and heart in a very alert, aware state to benefit you in your waking state, your sleep state, and in the transition at death. So that you can meet whatever you're going to meet with your highest, best, and A game on in that moment. All right. So I want you to imagine, with that being said, I want you to imagine your internal Buddha with a stick as we go into this meditation. If your mind wanders, I want you to imagine bringing your attention back to the focal point that you're going to look at down in front of you and your breath, and just observing your breath, just a drop in there. And you stay there and you hold it. And anytime you notice it, even if you timed out for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, or until you hear me encourage you to lay down, that's okay, but just bring it back to that focal point. And that will be the practice. All right. So with that being said, I would welcome you to all come up into an upright seated position if you're not there already. Pull that spinal column all the way up, 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 up. And then take a nice gentle breath in. And exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Another one. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I welcome you to stay focused at that focal point, a soft gaze, and to observe your breath. Gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center, gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. And as you continue to follow your natural breathing pattern, breathing in and out, I welcome you to rise up into a seated position when you're ready. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I would like to gently welcome you to express silent gratitude for all aspects of yourself. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I welcome you to just follow your natural state of breath and awareness. And I want to just gently remind you as you move into the next to see if you can practice retaining your awareness and your focus in every moment in your waking state in your sleeping state and in your meditative state. And then, if inspired, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, reach out to me if I'm not in touch with you already. And understand that this is one of the greatest gifts that you will give yourself, not only for this dimensional field of waking, living state, but for beyond here. And this is why in Eastern traditions, they cultivate a practice to retain awareness in all states of being, especially for when they take the big transition from one existence to the next. So, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I hope you get to know your Buddha with a stick inside that will help you practice discipline and focus and clear out the energy in your mind and heart that distracts you and keeps you from sipping up all the amazing things around you. And I'd also like to thank Kadri Scott, Dante Marino, and Random Rad for your contributions here. And a gentle reminder for all of you to support the arts. And those three artists, Random Rad, Dante Marino, and Kadri Scott, all have music that you can engage with. Also, there are some other amazing artists listed below that you can connect with, or ones you know. The best thing to do right now is to engage with them direct, and if they offer something and you can, purchase it. And that's what will keep things going, from literature to all kinds of things. Interact with your creators direct and support them. We are shifting this paradigm, and it's going to start with that practice too. All right, until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.